Om Apyayantu mamangani Vākprānaścakṣuśrotramatho Balamindriyāni ca sarvāni Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaraṇam me astu tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mayi santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This seventh chapter of the Chāndogya Upanishad, as we have said many times before, has 26 sections. Asya Adhyayasya Shadvimshati Khandaha Santi. These 26 sections have the first 15 devoted to upasana of 15 factors, whereby there is greater and greater discovery of our own hidden potential. There is in the journey of a human being towards his or her moksha, emancipation, there is this discovering greater and greater capabilities, capacities. Perhaps that is what some call awakening of intelligence. The ultimate awakening of intelligence sets one free. But before one arrives over there, one actually, known to the public or unknown to the public, discovers so many hidden treasures within oneself. Therefore, rather than being a good person superficially, rather than being comfortable and content with the social respectability, rather than being happy about a certain image that people have about one, if one is very honest, one goes deeper and deeper. Most of humanity spend their life in somehow becoming well received in the society, in becoming somebody, and then they struggle to maintain that reputation. I am the best businessman, I am the best lawyer, I am the best doctor in town, It is such a burden to seek to be the best doctor, the best lawyer, etc. Most people do not understand this. Motivational literature has such statements. If you are a doctor, be the best in the town, in the country, in the world. It puts a human being in a lot of artificiality. A little higher, certain thinkers say to us, what is important is not to become the best engineer or doctor, writer or speaker, singer or athlete. What is important is to be a truly good human being. If you advise people to be truly a good human being, that advice falls flat on them. Not many take that advice, for they are already conditioned to think we must be the best. Our building must be the tallest. Our house must be the biggest. Our car must be the most expensive one. Why? And is there an end to that, becoming somebody famous and very rich, etc.? Therefore, wise people who are very few in this world advise us just to be, not to become. The glitter and glamour of becoming somebody, running a successful organization, extending the empire of your institution, being well received in many countries, etc. There are many facets of this becoming. The anxiety about becoming and arriving there, quite tired already, and yet, oh, some tears of joy, and then at the same time, not sure how the tomorrow would be. That whole sphere of discovering our hidden talents and performing better, etc., needs to be re-examined. In the 15 upasanas, there was quite a bit of flavor of rising in one's stature. Though the Upanishad is such a thought-provoking literature, it doesn't explicitly talk about fame and name. Already there is quite a bit of spiritual touch there. It's not about people coming to know how great you are. It's coming to know who you are inside yourself. A flower behind a leaf on a far forest path blossoms and gives its fragrance. Some travelers passing by that part of the forest below that tree may enjoy the fragrance and say, wow, what a beautiful, what a wonderful fragrance. We don't know where it is coming from. They may not know. Nor does the flower care for their appreciation. The flower blossoms, and that blossoming itself is both the means and the end. This is higher thinking. Likewise, I would say, to make one last comment on the first 15 khandas, human life is meant for a certain inner flowering. If we give importance to outer recognition, and as a result of that, we compare ourselves with somebody else, or our friends compare us with somebody else and sometimes mock at us, tease us, poke us. Look where you are, and look where that person is. If you are a little less lazy, if you are a little more hardworking, you would have been there. Do you know that? Etc. Foolish people. The blind leading the blind. Their intention may be good. They want you to excel. But they are themselves caught in this evil conditioning of seeking name and fame. And it doesn't spare even spiritual organizations. Oh, spiritual organizations are sometimes so ambitious. Either they want to convert more and more people and bring larger numbers under their fold, or they just want to hit the front pages of newspapers. They want to be in limelight. Imagine a spiritual guru dreaming of getting closer to the prime minister or the president, and then How nice it would be if a picture of me with the Prime Minister comes on all the major channels of the television. Suppose somebody dreams of that. Somebody fancies awards. Somebody is visualizing some glitter and glamour. We respect the work they have done or they are doing, but internally, if they are seeking that kind of recognition, and likewise, if somebody else who did not get that recognition shrinks, feels bad, feels small, feels low, both of them are ignorant. Life is not actually about becoming famous, getting recognized, etc. You spend every day, every moment to the best of your ability. Do whatever you are doing very well. That is spiritual. But if we put how the society looks at us, how our neighbors look at us, how our image will be, then that is what in English they call through an idiom, putting the cart before the horse. A proper horse or a proper cart has a horse in front, the cart is behind. As the horse runs, the cart follows it. But imagine the cart is in front of the horse. So there is that idiom, many of you surely know, putting the cart before the horse. Like that, this phalasakti, Sri Krishna calls it phalasakti, eats into us. It emaciates us, it weakens us, it finally kills us. Even as we are running the rat race, I want to be richer than her, I want to be more famous than him, I want to do, in my name, let such and such thing happen. That kills us. So please do not mistake the 15 objects of upasana in a grosser way of seeking outer glitter, but it is an honest quest of who am I? And it is the self-expression for understanding who we are. Okay, starting from Nama, Sanat-kumāra brought Nārada to Prana. And our good friend Nārada did not ask, after coming to know about Prana, the very life force in you and me, he did not ask, is there something higher than Prana? Then Sanat-kumāra thought, oh, though Nārada has been understanding everything quite well, he seems to be stuck with this Prana. He thinks Prana is the ultimate, but Prana also is in the domain of that which rises and falls, increases and decreases, dies and is reborn. In other words, it is in the domain of change. That which can give liberation to somebody is untouched by change, untouched by decay, untouched by growth. Therefore, we saw in the last class, Sanat-kumāra guides Nārada further, not giving one more factor for upasana, but by exhorting him, awakening him, or making him realize that the highest is known by knowing Satyam. Last class we saw Satyam and Vijnana. There was a question at the end, what is this Satyam? Is it same as Paramartha Satyam? And I did answer going by Shankara Bhashya, it is Paramartha Satyam. Some of you might have wondered if the 16th Khanda talked about Satyam already, if it is Paramartha Satya, which is going to be called Bhuma later on, where is the need to go further? Satya is covered. Oh, sorry. No, Satya is not covered in that sense. It's like I tell somebody in South India who is very eager to study the Upanishads. I tell him, you seem to be really eager. And luckily for you, you seem to know Hindi very well. Go to Rishikesh. Study in Kailas Ashram, where Swami Vivekananda has studied, Swami Tapovanam has studied, many stalwarts of Vedanta have studied in Kailas Ashram in Rishikesh. Unless you go to Rishikesh, your thirst for spiritual knowledge may not be quenched. I'm talking about Rishikesh. But neither I am in Rishikesh nor this young man is in Rishikesh at that time. Imagine after a couple of months, I happen to go towards Rishikesh. I ask this young man, you want to come? And he comes. Both of us reach Rishikesh. And there I'm standing opposite Kailas ashram. And I say to this young brahmachari, look, this is Kailas ashram. We have arrived here. Here is Ganga flowing. And over there is Shivananda ashram. Across the river is Paramartha Niketan. And it's good for you for 2 or 3 days. Take a look at several ashrams. But latest by next week, get down to serious study of the Vedanta in this Kailas ashram. So, couple of months before, also I talked about Rishikesh. I said to that young man, maybe in a South Indian city, Calicut or Coimbatore, unless you go to Rishikesh, you won't be able to learn bhūma-vidyā adequately. Now also I'm talking of Rishikesh. Difference is, there I said, unless you go to Rishikesh. Now we are in Rishikesh, let's begin the study. Right? Likewise, the 16th Khanda did talk about Paramartha Satya, but in a certain context. Unless you know Paramartha Satya, you will not be really an excellent speaker, Ativadi. Someone who knows the truth becomes this excellent, surpassing speaker. Actually, it is not only speaker, that person's life will become surpassingly beautiful. Brahma-jnana makes our life so beautiful, free from conflict, free from fear, free from regrets, free from low self-esteem, free from undue pride, free from 1,000 negativities. Such life is indeed beautiful. So, Ativadi represents that kind of excellence in life. So, Satyena Ativadati. But Satya is not by just repeating the word Satya 1,000 times. In order that you know that Satya, just like in my analogy, in order that you actually go to Rishikesh, you got to take a train or a flight. You fly from Coimbatore to Delhi, then take Shatabdi Express, get down at Haridwar, take another vehicle, go to Rishikesh. Right? Likewise, in order that you may actually come to know Satya, which will be pointed out later by the word Bhuma, and certain Lakshanas are going to be given. Right now in the 16th Khanda, no Lakshanas of Satya are given. Unless you do Vijnana or you gain Vijnana, that is right understanding. And with that, we enter two more sections. Let's see this title slide at this moment. There are two factors which we shall see, which further prepare the student, Narada here, and all of us following him. All of us are no more interested in knowing further dimensions of our personality, but we now want to know Satya, the ultimate truth, which actually has no dimensions, which has no parts, which has no variation, which has no high or low, which has no, it is indescribable. So, in order to know that Satya, we need Vijnana. How do we get Vijnana? That is where two factors, which are subtler. If we do Manana, Manana is called Mati here. Somewhere else Mati may mean the mind. But here Mati is Manana. You see, Man Dhatu in neuter is Mananam and in feminine is Mati. Both are from the verbal root Man. Man Manute, or in fourth conjugation, Man Manyate. Man Dhatu. So Mananam. And in a connected way, the 19th Khanda talks about how we may do effective manana. We are studying the Shastra, which is supposed to give us Vijnana, but if we do Shastradhyayana without manana, only Shravana, and even if a doubt comes, tomorrow the Guru may solve this doubt. I don't want to do manana on my own. Today's lecture is over. Now it's time for me to watch some television or take some rest. In this way, if the student does not do her own reflection, how will Vijnana happen? Unless Vijnana is there, how will Satyam come about? So, Vijnanasya karanam matihi mananam bhavati, mananasya karanam shraddha bhavati. Therefore, we have two sentences culled from the 18th and 19th khandas. Matihi vijidnasitavya. Grammar. Mati is feminine, therefore vijidnasitavya. Dirgha. Shraddha also is feminine. Shraddha vijidnasitavya. Desire to know the importance of reflection. Many of us listen to a whole hour of Vedanta. Once the class is over, we are waiting to do so many other things. For the 1 hour you heard, if not immediately, a little later at least, why don't you do 10 minutes of reflecting on, what did we learn today? What did the teacher speak about? What did the Shastra say, which the teacher elaborated on? But here, this seems to be a bit unclear. Let me think, let me reflect. So one does one's own reflection. Likewise, Shraddha. Even as one is doing some reflection, the mind may say, these things were all important in those centuries. In this 21st century, I think our generation doesn't need all this. What is karma? What is jnana? How they cannot go together? The Samuchaya Khandana. I think the Buddhists had a problem and Shankaracharya was answering them. I don't think I need it. Or even if I need it, there's a limit to how much I can study. I leave this out. In this way, suppose there is some kind of lack of adequate regard for what you are reflecting upon, then that reflection stops halfway. The reflection then limps, cannot walk in a decent manner. Therefore, have faith. If the Upanishad, if the Bhashya of Shankara is taking pains to present something before you, convey something to you, for heaven's sake, do not label it as unnecessary. I will skip this. You will do well to deliberate on what is said with all the faith. Now let's see. In the second slide, there are only 3 slides in this whole class. In the second slide, we present the only mantra in the 18th khanda. Ashtadashe khande ekaha mantra bhavati. Ekaha eva, only one mantra. So don't ask, is this the first mantra or the last mantra? If you ask, I would say, Yada vai manute atha vijanati na amatva vijanati, and so on is the first mantra also, last mantra also, the middle mantra also, because this is the only mantra in the section 18. Chāndogya Upanishad says here, Yada vai manute, mandatu in Ashtama Gana, 8th conjugation. Like karoti becomes kurute, kurute ganga sagara gamanam. So, manute, man, to think. Only when one reflects, then vijnana can take place. And that vijnana can open the door to satya darshanam. Yada manute, ata vijanati, ata tasya vijnanam bhavati, na amatva, double negative. If you do not reflect, amatva, matva again is with the root man, amatva, if you don't reflect, there is a na then, na vijanati. To further strengthen that, third line, matva eva vijanati. Therefore, mananam matihi tu eva vijnasitavya. Therefore, Nārada, don't take everything on the surface and imagine you understood. Have you been studying with Shraddha? Have you been studying with reflection? Have you been going into the meanings of the Shastra? Have you been eager to have a darshana of Satyam? These are not upasana, but this is about the importance of right outlook, right attitude, right disposition, right mindset. 20 people join, let us say, a 1-year Vedanta course. All of them may have equal IQ, in a manner of saying. All of them may have equal abilities of language, grammar, puha, poha, ability, capacity they have. But suppose some people do not do reflection. Some do. And those who do, go faster. Next year, probably we will offer a 1-year program on Vedanta study. Already one boy from West Indies have shown interest. He wants to come tomorrow. But I said, hold back. We are not ready yet. You know, he is thinking of booking his tickets and coming to Bombay, join the ashram that we are going to open. I had to tell him, can you wait maybe for 8 months, 10 months? So it's very wonderful for a teacher to announce a 1-year Vedanta course and for 10 or 20 or any number of students. Some of them, like I said, this boy from Trinidad wants to cross the oceans from Trinidad and Tobago, which is part of the West Indies islands, lots of islands. Trinidad, in fact, is much closer to the country called Venezuela, a country in the South Americas. And lots of Hindus, almost 50% of the population there are of Indian origin. That's a whole different story. So question is, 20 people join a Vedanta course. All begin with great enthusiasm, but pretty soon some of them don't have ability or the readiness or the inclination to do manana. If they don't do manana, they only do shravana, and then are we busy with another 100 things to do, even in ashram life. When your mind is not ready, whether you are in an ashram or in the Himalayas or on moon, you will have 100 other things to do. And Shastradhyayana, Shastra Anuchintana, Manana takes a back seat. Na amatva vijanati, matva eva vijanati, matistveva vijidnasitavya iti. So please understand, by registering for a one year course, 2 year course, by signing up, etc. Don't think everything happens. You need to go through that program in the right mindset. That is what is being talked of. No upasana is being talked of. But understand and bring yourself to the right mental disposition where manana happens. Nārada understands it. Yes, yes, yes. And therefore he says, Matim Vijitnase. I would surely want to understand and get that disposition, mindset. And then in the next slide, last slide, the Upanishad tells us this manana will simply not happen unless we have Shraddha. Therefore, the only mantra of the 19th Khanda, Ekona Vimshati Tamaha Khandaha, 19th section. Vimshati is 20. Ekona Vimshati, one less than 20 is Eka Una Vimshati. Asmin Ekona Vimshati Tame Khande Vayam Shraddham Janimaha. Let's know about Shraddha. The mantra says, Yada Vai Shraddadhati. When someone approaches the Shastra, its adhyayana, manana over it, with the faith that this is true. Right now, I may not understand what it is, but here is something precious. Shraddadhati. So all the Prakarana Granthas like Viveka Chudamani talk about Shraddha. Shastreshu Guruvakyeshu Satyadharana Satyatva Buddhi. It is called Shraddha. Na Ashraddhadat. Shraddhadat means having faith. Ashraddhadat, not having faith. Na manute. Then manana cannot take place. You may even keep aside half an hour. 1 hour I heard Swamiji's lecture, teacher's lecture, Acharya's lecture, and I have come what may. Half an hour I have kept. After breakfast, after a little other couple of chores, 10 to 10:30, I will do manana on what I received in Shravana. You have kept there, you have willpower. But willpower is not enough. You need Shraddha. Even as you open and you are about to do manana, suppose you have some doubt or some lack of faith in that particular Upanishad, or in the teacher, or in God, or in the ashram, or in the management, or in about something, about the place, about the time. If the boy has come all the way from Trinidad and wants to study, but then he comes to know after 2 months of studying at Jnana Shakti, he comes to know that in Rishikesh somebody has just now started a similar course. And this person, I think I should have gone there. That teacher in Rishikesh has a neat shaven head. I think I should learn from a guru of shaven head. This Swamiji here does not shave his head. On some silly ground, orange clothes or shaven head or a little longer nose or some, or somebody knows more Sanskrit, somebody knows more English, somebody, whatever. The human mind, how it gains Shraddha and how it loses Shraddha is difficult to explain. Ashraddhadat, Ashraddhadat, Ashraddhadat. Shrat means Sat. So, a mindset that holds Sat, holds truth, is Shraddha. Na ashraddhadat manute, shraddhadat eva manute. If you have faith, then only you will be able to do manana, reflection. Only when you do manana or reflection, you will have vijnana. Only when you have vijnana, you will understand satya as it is, and then only you will be ativadi. You will be an excellent speaker. You say one sentence, it will have as much impact as 1,000 sentences said by others. Your words will have power. Right? Shraddhatu eva vijidnasitavya iti. This is the words of Sanat-kumāra. Nārada, it's not enough if you develop your personality. We are now trying to talk about that which is above the personality. In a previous section, Shankara Bhashya says, Nama to Prana, all those 15 are Trayorupa, made of 3. And he refers to the earlier chapter 6, where 3 were mentioned. Tejo Banna, Tejaha, up and Anna, fire, water and earth, representing the 5 elements. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi. So 3 means 5. So the entire range of the 15 factors which had to be adored, about which upasana had to be done, they were Panchabhutatmakam. Whereas this Brahman, which is to be known, called Bhūma or Bhūman in this chapter, is Paramartha Tattvam, and it is above the 5 elements, above the 3, Tejaha, Apaha and Anna. So, Nārada is eager to know. I would want to know Shraddha. For understanding the importance of Shraddha will bring Shraddha to me. Many a time we do not get something because we don't understand. Today a large number of Hindus, very educated, holding big positions also in India and abroad, have not studied Sanatana Dharma properly. And therefore, to them, Sanatana Dharma doesn't mean much. And if there are some people who mock at Sanatana Dharma, they even join them. Yeah. And if they come to know some temple was destroyed somewhere, or a bunch of people in some place were doing Agnihotra daily, but now everybody is pursuing science and engineering, etc. Nobody does Agnihotra in that family. So what? They ask. Because they don't know importance of Agnihotra. They don't know the wisdom of the Vedas. They are fed more negative stuff against the Vedas than some understanding of the Vedas. As a result, there is a lot of crisis now, global crisis with regard to this most ancient and still surviving culture, you call it religion, you call it spirituality, you call it a way of life, you call it Sanatana Dharma. So next month onwards, we are going to have one webinar every month on Sanatana Dharma. The webinars, as you know, are on Sunday evenings in India. Like day after tomorrow also, we're going to have on Sunday, 8:30 p.m. and California time, 7 a.m. Because from this Sunday, March 12, daylight saving begins. So please note the new timings. Next week, for example, the Upanishad class is going to be for India 8 p.m., not 8:30 p.m. And Pacific time will be 7:30 a.m. You know this daylight saving, how it begins and then how after 6 months it ends. Coming back, Shraddham Vijidnase, Nārada says, I wish to know. To know will make a big difference. Then that is the first step, if not the last step also, to have Shraddha. So one must know one's language. One must know one's culture. One must know before taking a position. From childhood, if one has been conditioned negatively. One of my friends grew up in a communist family. From childhood, uncle and father and some aunt also, they were all communists. Of course, communists do good to the society in many respects. They are passionate about equality, they are passionate about social justice, they are passionate about preventing the rich from exploiting the poor, etc. We respect it. But most of the communists don't believe in God. They mock at God. They think any person who talks about God is exploiting the society. They think temples are a waste of land or real estate space. Out of these conclusions are fed to them. So this friend of mine is like that. He makes some sweeping remarks about certain Mahatmas who are so great, but this man has been fed from early childhood negative stuff about even holy people, Mahatmas, and so on. All right. Vijidnase, I was trying to explain Vijidnase. You must seek to know, desire to know. If you have desire to know, then no. Now, quickly, we take just one or two lines from Shankara Bhashya. Shankaracharya, for the sake of writing, he does not write. He is not like one of those people who has some rigid idea. Okay, on every mantra I will write 50 words at least, up to 500 words, number of words, how somehow to fill up. No, you will be surprised to know that on this 18th khanda, Mati, which is same as Manana, he writes only one line. Yada vai manute iti. That is just referring to the mantra under discussion. He writes only one short sentence. Nobody should misunderstand. Mati means understanding or mind or instrument, etc. Matihi is mananam tarkaha. Three sentences, three words. Matihi mananam tarkaha. Mati is manana. So please know the context. In this context, in the 18th khanda, Mati stands for manana, Shravana manana nididhyasana. We know. So Matihi atra mananam. And then coming to the 19th khanda, again only one sentence. Mantavya Vishaye Adaraha Astikya Buddhihi Shraddha. He just gives a definition of what is Shraddha. Adara, regard, respect, a certain sense of this is worth studying, this is worth contemplating upon. Then you, if you think it's worth contemplating upon, you then contemplate, which is called manana. ये मनन के योग्य है, ऐसे सोचने पर मनन करोगे. If your understanding is इस पर मनन करके कोई फायदा नहीं है, there is no use doing some reflection on this, let me skip, then there is no Shraddha. Mantavya Vishaye, over a topic which should be reflected upon, Adaraha. Astikya Buddhi, a certain sense of, yes, there is divinity here. This is divine. This is for my good. And so on. Mantavya Vishaya Adaraha Astikya Buddhi Shraddha. That's all. Somebody wants to say, I want to study some Shankara Bhashya, at least on one section of Chāndogya Upanishad, but it should not be too long. I recommend read 18th and 19th Khandas of chapter 7. You can read Shankara Bhashya in 1 minute. In 1 minute, these two sentences can be studied. All right. One announcement is the next class, next Friday, will be in India, 8 p.m. and going by Pacific time, 7:30 a.m. Friday. Om Namah Paramarashibhyo Namah Paramarashibhyah.